Taking you guys were really, really good on defense tonight. What was kind of behind that, I guess?
Yeah, I think defensively we did really well. I think that's kind of the main driver that we've been seeing these past couple games. And they have some really good post players, so we just made sure to defend the inside and get out on shooters.
Tyler, you guys were really, really good in the third quarter all last year, and that was obviously something you did again tonight. Is there something that you guys, like a formula you have? It seems like you always just come out so strong in the third quarter.
We just try and come out with more intensity than we did finishing the half, I guess, and we try and carry that through the whole quarter. And I think when the starters come out and can give us that spark, then it kind of carries over for people coming off the bench too.
Is there any sense of you spend the first half kind of feeling them out a little bit, and then you come out in the third quarter with a little better idea? Is that at all what's going on?
I think that kind of happens with every game a little bit, but we have a plan that we come out with, and then I think maybe coming into the third quarter, it's easier to execute that sometimes. But we just try and come out with intensity each quarter and each half.
Taken, would you like to finish a little better offensively? Fourth quarter, I think you made one basket and went from a 24-point lead. Not like the game was ever in danger, but you only won by 10 when you were up by 25.
Yeah, I think it's something we definitely need to focus on is finishing games, finishing that fourth quarter. It didn't go how we wanted to, but I think just how we played the rest of the game and our defense allowed us to be okay in a good spot. But we definitely need to finish games better than that fourth quarter.
Tyler, what do you think you guys can do overall to be better offensively?
I think that's still coming along, and people are still trying to get the feel of everything too. We have obviously a really different rotation, and I think that'll come, and that's not really something we're worried about at the moment. I think we're really just focusing on being intense and keeping that intensity up and competing in practice.
Well, that was a good win. I thought defensively played very good and very solid throughout the game, and that was important to us. I think that side we've been a little bit up and down in our first few games, so I thought defensively played really well. They really worked hard on it this week too, so I'm happy for them that they got to see some of those results out there. Offensively, just the inconsistency that I've seen, I think, so far in our early games. Just it doesn't take much to be more consistent. We need to obviously make some free throws. We need to limit some turnovers and kind of shooting ourselves in the foot at times to hurt ourselves with that inconsistency. So those are things we can get better at, and that's promising. But we had a really nice third quarter. That was one I hope they feel good about and they can build on the offensive end.
I asked you a lot last year about being really good in the third quarter. Did you work your magic at halftime again, or what? That just seems to be something you guys are really good at?
Yeah, I don't, it's never tone. I think a lot of people assume there's tone, but it really isn't that. It's just thinking about, okay, how are they defending us and what do we have to do differently? That part to me I liked a lot. In ways we're a really mature team, and in ways we're kind of a younger team, I would say. What I mean by that is not just in our youth, but just people playing a lot of different spots and different roles, and it takes time to get into that. So it's great to see us look a little more like a mature team in that third quarter, meaning how are they defending us and how do we have to attack them, and then being able to execute it and do it. So that was really good. And again, I thought the fourth quarter there was still a lot of that, but we just missed some shots and missed some free throws, and all of a sudden the energy kind of goes down, and that's that consistency that we can control pretty quickly. But in that third quarter we looked like a more mature team and had a plan, and they really executed it well.
Would you say that you guys are focusing more on defense because you aren't as good offensively right now, or is that the personality of your team that you're built to be a good defensive team?
No, I think it's something we've probably been better at in the past, but we were, scoring more points, and so a lot of times it just gets overshadowed. But quite honestly, defensively, we've always, I think, been very good. I think right now, until our offense gets to be more consistent, we're going to have to, rely on our defense and win some games with our defense. Maybe last year we could win some games with our offense. So we're just going to have to be there. And I thought, like I said, we were really good defensively throughout the game. We really did a nice job.
What do you think your team's shot selection right now?
I think it's inconsistent. Yeah, that's the best way I can say it. It's sporadic at times. I think our team knows that. I don't look at that as a negative. I think that's just the reality. We're trying to work different people into different roles, and until they get really confident in that role, there's going to be some of that. But I did think in the second half we started looking for people and looking for people in good spots. In the first half, I thought it was more surprise, I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. And that's never a good offensive plan. But in the second half, I didn't sense that as much. I think in some of our earlier games, there was a little bit of that too. I'm open, I should let it go, you know, and that's just never a good way to play. But that takes time to get to that point, you know, that's when you have a lot of new roles, it takes a little time. So I don't think that's surprising or anything I'm disappointed at. We'll just keep working at it to try and make that a little more clear, because that's a big part of our offensive consistency we're looking for. It comes from a unified plan and a unified purpose, I'd say.
You mentioned cutting down on turnovers in your opening statement. That's popped up a little bit here early. Do you chalk that up to youth too a little bit and not quite being in sync, or what's?
I talked that up to a little bit to experience. I talked that up to just people a little bit out of their element at times, trying to do more than they need to. You know, there's got to be a certain trust and belief of you know, we're going to get this done with the 5 on the floor, not I've got to try and get something done. And some of those we're trying to force some penetration things, and now getting stuck, and now we're not ready to get back into a good offensive flow. Some of it's just over dribbling at times. You know, those things I think aren't really indicative of where we need to be offensively, but they're indicative of some, you know, very driven players trying to do everything they can to help us. And it's a matter of sometimes you gotta slow down before you can go fast, I think, and that's kind of where we're at. So, but it's a good win. I feel really good about it. You know, we've talked a little bit about some of those inconsistencies and things we have to do better, and we certainly do that. But we do that the same way after every game. You know, I'm not more worried about anything we've talked about here than I would have been after, you know, any of our games this year. We'll look at it the same way and get better with it. But from where we were 2 weeks ago to now, I feel really good about it. They've really worked hard, and we've taken some good steps forward. For sure.
Tegan kind of found something there tonight early. How would you say she played tonight versus the first couple of games?
She was more assertive. I thought in her first couple of games she was passive. I think she was trying to, you know, figure out where her role was going to be in spots on the floor that we wanted to get her the ball. And I thought really worked hard this week at trying to help identify some of that, and I thought it really paid off, and she did a good job of responding to it. You know, we're playing different kinds of lineups. You know, at times we're smaller, at times we're bigger, and I would say even that's hard on a team. You know, for 40 minutes they don't have the same lineup that they're just in a comfort zone with. At times Maya's playing the 3 and then the 4, and Tegan's playing the 3, 4, and 5. Tori's playing the 2, 3, 4 tonight. You know, that takes time to let that kind of play out too. And I think every game we play, you'll see more of that, more comfort level in that. So Tegan, for instance, I think is starting to kind of feel better about how that's going to work and where she fits into it.